Top of the morning, of the day, the afternoon, the evening, depending on where
The
you are.
world.
The world. It's First World, Third Rails, your host, Marlon, aka Mayhem, with his partner in the shotgun seat, JD, aka JD.
I'm thinking of getting a new nickname. You know what I'm thinking of?
What are you thinking of?
JD.
I like it. I like it. Run with it.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
How you doing, big guy?
I'm fine, thanks.
Good. In case you're wondering, today I'm actually coming to you. Guess where I am today?
Oh, hold on. No idea.
I am actually coming to you from my very own neighborhood, Everett, Washington, aka Canada South, as my better half calls it.
Is that in Snohomish County?
Snohomish County.
I love that name. I'm in Fairfax County. I like Snohomish.
Great shot of the Everett Marina, Everett waterfront. That is in my backyard right there.
Cool.
It never gets old. Just wanted to give a little love today to Canada South, aka Everett.
Go Everett.
Yes, we're back. I'm happy because we're back, man. 60 degrees, clouds, little drizzle. I'm back. All right. I'm so acclimated. I'm back.
What we got? Change is not our third rail today. What's our third rail today?
You tell me, buddy. What do you want to talk about today? We've got a trial date, rather. Excuse me.
March 4th. We have a new one from Arizona.
Yes, we do.
Well, it hasn't arrived yet. Apparently,
it's on the way. Trust me.
Yeah, State's Attorney Mays has already gone after the fake electors. So those are in the can. I don't know if Mays is a man or a woman. I don't know. And apparently, they're carrying on with a separate investigation into Ringmaster Giuliani and that whole group of crazies. So,
yes, sir.
And what they think they have, I'll close on this. What they think they have is they think they have Trump's direct involvement in that process. In other words,
we have that in Georgia.
Yes, but these are all departures from the norm. He would always have other people do his bidding, and Georgia and now it looks like Arizona are situations where he got so frustrated and was desperate enough that he actually did it himself.
Yes.
Lazy rat bastard.
Yes. By the way, I'm 6'5", 215 pounds today, just for the record.
Oh, I can't see you. Turn sideways.
Just for the record.
You mentioned something that made me laugh. It was somebody was 6'5" and 215. Who was that?
There's Rex Chapman, former NBA player. There's Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, you showed me a profile of somebody who's actually 6'3".
Yes.
And it's like
he does not look like that. Please.
Yeah, one of these is not like the other.
No, not even close. But we have a trial date, March 4th, right before Super Tuesday.
I know. I love that part.
Judge is not playing around.
Well, here's the thing. It appears
she's not playing around.
All right. So I'm a libtard. I am not a maggot. But I observe maggots, and it seems to me like they are going to select him as their candidate. It seems to me. So he's going to be in court.
Yep.
And voters or Super Tuesday, is it New Hampshire or Iowa?
I want to say Iowa, but yeah, you can check on that.
Wherever the hell it is, maggots to select him as their chosen one.
Of course they are. Of course they are. Because this is a witch hunt. He didn't do anything wrong.
You know, I was thinking about it. If you vote for Trump, that automatically makes you a maggot.
Yes. Yes.
Because
there's no gray area here.
Well, one of the things that has been fascinating to me is the difference between ignorance and willful ignorance. And
there's no difference.
I think there's a fundamental difference.
No, you're either ignorant or you're not. Case in point, Salami Boy.
No, we've been through this. You and I always argue about entitlement versus ignorance.
You need to keep up with his. Listen, I'm not going to curse today. I'm not going to do it.
Who are you? What have you done with
I don't care where you went to school. I don't care what you achieved. When you make statements like Vic Salami Boy, you are ignorant. I don't care about your calculations. I don't care about your goals, what you think you can and cannot do, who you think you can and cannot get to support you. When you make dumbass comments like him, it makes you ignorant. End of story. I don't know how many times I got to go through this.
Well, you know what? I'm going to.
This is like my frustration that I had last night. And God bless my better half. Far be it for me to correct her, but I had to correct her. We were watching the news. And she was like, this is horrible. And I'm like, no, honey. The horrible thing is we know what to do to stop gun violence, and we're not doing it. That's the horrible part. Talking about the shooting, of course, at UNC Chapel Hill. This man never should have been able to purchase an AR-15, ever. Just in general, he shouldn't be able to do it. But when you have a history of being committed involuntarily, you should not be able to go out and purchase a firearm like that. What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing?
I don't know. Why don't you ask Clarence Thomas? Because Clarence Thomas is ahead of the game on this.
Oh,
what do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about guns? You want to talk about maggots?
They're all lumped in there together.
Well, they are and they aren't.
Together. Yeah, they are. Yeah,
they are and they aren't.
Yeah, they are. It's sheer. It is sheer ignorance, knowing we know the solution, and we're cowardly and beholden to the NRA to the point that we refuse to act. And I've said this since Newtown, Connecticut in 2012. If we're not compelled to act when it's 6, 7, and 8-year-olds, we're never going to act. Here we are in 2023 having the same fucking conversations.
Well,
I said I wasn't going to curse today, and that's already out the window behind MAGAs and guns.
I'll catch it. The first thing is that the people who are against control are convinced they will never have, they will not be shocked.
Not about that. Not about that.
I think a lot of it's about that.
They are beholden to the Second Amendment and NRA money, period. The people who can, I don't listen. I don't care.
Yes. If I say yes.
Listen. No. I don't give a shit about people like you.
Me?
Yes, you. Me
personally.
I don't give a shit about people like you. I don't care that you feel you're never going to go out and shoot somebody. You're not the problem.
I wasn't talking about myself. I was talking about people who
support they are not the problem. The problem, Steve Kerr has talked about this and talked about this. I don't know how many fucking times we need to talk about it. The problem are those that are in power in Congress who can evoke change and are beholden to NRA money. That is why this keeps happening, JD. And yeah, I'm sorry I'm cursing. I'm sorry I'm animated and angry. But
I think the people believe that they
shooting. We rinse and repeat every fucking cycle. We'll just wait for the next one. Thoughts and prayers. Oh, this is terrible. We don't have to live like this. Go fuck yourselves. I'm done with this conversation. We know what needs to happen, and we need to kick those in Congress beholden to NRA money out and put people in who will institute change, period.
Of course, you're right. You're 1,000% right. But it ain't going to happen.
We'll see. We'll see.
It's not going to happen because of the way that everything is set up. We have the House of Representatives with two 2-year cycles. We have senators with 6-year cycles. and every state gets 2 senators. That's where the problem lies.
We will see.
What that does is that distributes power more evenly between states, irrespective of population.
We will see.
Anyway, so if I agree with you 100%, can I then expand on this?
Go.
All right. As time progresses, I am increasingly of the belief that most decisions are local. So I think that if you did a pie chart, that the NRA contribution to politicians, and more important, NRA contributions to people who don't support them. So if you're a politician and you're getting NRA money and you go against them, you're afraid of them taking what little fundage they have remaining and giving it to your competitors. So being primary, you know the drill. But I don't think that's the big slice. I think the big slice is people actually do believe that we need to keep AR weapons of war available, and I think it's because they don't think that they'll be personal.
You're the analytics guy, and that's not what the polling data shows. It actually shows the opposite of that.
But there are two things. You can have polling data based on the populace, but then you have the voting population, which is what is described by the 100 members of the Senate, the 435 in Congress, and the election cycles. So there's a huge difference between the electorate and who gets elected.
Of course.
Right, but that's the challenge. Therein lies the challenge, my friend.
Why is that a challenge?
Because everything you say is correct, and yet it remains the same. So the question is, if Marlon is right, then why doesn't it change?
Because we're willfully ignorant.
Which was where I was
and
going.
Beholden to money.
Which you can add that in.
I get the whole argument.
There used to be a 7-layer dip at Fridays, and they got a 9-layer dip, and the 7-layer dip was better than the 9-layer dip because
I get the
add
whole.
So much shit to this.
I get the whole. My rights, Second Amendment bullshit. I get that bullshit. We've been down that road. The bottom line is this: we know what needs to be done. We know who is willing to do it and who is not. So until we get rid of those who are not willing to enact common sense and replace them with those who are willing to not be holding the NRA money and enact common sense, and that day I have to believe is coming. Until then, you know my position. Take your thoughts and prayers and shove them up your ass.
Yeah, that's where they belong.
Take your we don't have to live like this and shove it up your ass.
That is actually hypocrisy.
Yes.
That is hypocrisy.
Yes.
All right. So I'm still progressing. In other words, I'm changing how I view the world. Or more precisely, my view of the world is changing. I can't dictate how it's going to change, but I'm actually starting to run into this in my own life, and it's this local phenomena that I'm referring to. So I actually have a local situation now.
Yes.
And the early returns kind of reinforce what I was formulating before, which is you cannot change somebody's mind.
You have to have a mind to change.
No, I think it's possible to have a mind that is a perfectly good mind.
No.
But it won't be changed.
A perfectly good mind is one that can comprehend and evolve. That is not what you have.
That's an interesting concept.
That is not
that also is not happening. None of these maggots.
They're in a cult. They're in a cult. When you are in a cult, when you are in a cult, you don't have comprehension and evolution skills. You're in a cult. There's one way input. That's it.
I think I have to reformulate. I can't go with that simplistic explanation.
I've got 1,000 examples right at the fucking fingertips.
Name one.
Salami Boy.
I don't consider him I consider him to be a cult leader. And
He's
I
not a
consider
leader.
everything
He's
he
not
does.
a leader. He's not a leader.
I consider everything he does to be a calculation. What's interesting is that Vivek Ramaswamy occupies a position that's been held before. It was Ben Carson going back in time. It was the guy who died from COVID because he went to Trump's rally.
Right. I can't remember his name.
There have always been people of color who, Herman Cain, who have experienced kind of a
let me sum up
with the GOP, and the reason is because the GOP then gets to say we're an all-inclusive party. They don't stand a chance of going anywhere because they're people of color and they're primarily white people who are making these decisions.
They're ignorant people. Let me sum up Salami Boy for you because I did this perfectly in a tweet yesterday. The day is coming that we drop kick this ignorant piece of shit into the same bin that Herschel Walker is in, and he will never be heard from again on this level, on this
He's going into that bin, but for different reasons.
I don't care what reason. Just put him in there so we can get the fuck on with our lives.
You know, at the point where his listeners agree with him, which most of them do, he's making a calculation that's working. Keep in mind, they want the nomination or they want the vice presidency.
It's not working.
Not one of those fuckers expects to win the presidency.
No, so it's not working. That contradicts what you just said.
It's working with the MAGAs. It's working inside the GOP.
Who cares about them? That's a cult.
That's all they care about right now. Their primary focus is to win the nomination or become the Veep candidate.
Anyway, he will be drop kicked into a bin with Herschel Walker, and America will be better for it the day that happens.
That's true, but he's going to be discarded not by logic. He's going to be discarded by the standard racism. White people are going to discard Vivek Ramaswamy because he is a person of color. He'll be discarded.
No, they're going to discard him because he's a fucking idiot.
No, they won't. No, they like what he's saying. They like it. He's like saying, don't fund Ukraine.
No.
They love that stuff.
No, that's not why he's going to be discarded. He's a fucking idiot.
Because
I don't care really because he's a fucking idiot.
And you want autocrats in other countries so that you can support your worldview here in the U.S. When you say, I want Trump, you're saying, I want somebody who is going to be an autocrat. And I can demonstrate my support for the concept of autocrats by...
I don't want to take us down that rat hole. That fucking rat hole will never grow beyond 38%. We're done with that conversation. That's their cap. Their mountaintop is 38%. And 38% is not going to get them what they want. So they go in the bin and we move forward.
They go in the bin, but they don't go in the bin. They don't go anywhere.
What's Herschel Walker doing right now?
I don't know, but he's still out there. He didn't go in the bin.
Yes, he is in the bin.
No, once you affect history, you may personally move off stage, but you've already instantiated some aspect of your existence.
And what is that for Herschel Walker? Exactly. So
thankfully, it was the loss of 2 Senate seats.
Once he goes in the bin, we can put the lid on.
No, you can't put the lid on damage that's already done.
Like Herschel Walker, no one will give a shit what he has to say going forward. That's what I'm talking about. And once we get him in that bin and no one gives a shit about what he has to say, we can go forward.
You know what? Vivek Ramaswamy will be a presidential candidate in 2028.
We'll see.
He'll be back.
We'll see. We'll see.
When he comes back, everybody's going to marvel at how he has moderated his presentation, which means he will have recalculated his GPS.
I'll put 2 chili dogs on that right now. Okay. Sight unseen. Right now.
28.
Right now. Sight unseen.
All right, people. I hope you're buying chili dog futures because
Sight unseen. I'll put it on
Because the
that
last bet we
right
had went in the
button.
tank because he self-reported. Okay, I'm just going to do Vivek in 28. That's a 5-year bet, but I'll know you then.
We'll be dust. We'll be dust by then. But whoever's in our will can collect.
There's Marlon and there's JD. And Marlon says,
Your sons or my son will collect on that.
all right, fire in the hole, people. By the way, I didn't really tell you, my life changed yesterday.
Okay.
Okay, there are a lot of people living in our house.
Okay.
A lot of people. I discovered yesterday.
I can't have a lot of people living in my house, so I tip my hat to you just on that principle
alone. Well, it works nicely because everybody's very, very nice. Everybody's very considerate. Everybody's very helpful. Everybody contributes. It's kind of like a little commune. It's really nice.
I tip my hat to you. I couldn't do it.
And everybody gets along great. And that was threatened yesterday by me. I almost lost my mind. I slightly lost my mind, but.
Well, at least you got a mind to lose. I lost mine decades ago.
All right, so let me preface it this way. You know how you and I are always arguing between ignorant and entitled, ignorant, entitled, ignorant, entitled?
Right.
And then if I meet you halfway, I'll go, you'll be ignorance, and I'll be like willful ignorance.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Splitting hairs, but yeah.
We're really not, because I believe that people of intellect can reach different conclusions or hold different opinions.
Holding a different opinion is it's not even in the same ballpark as ignorant. We've been through this with Salami Boy.
Okay, but if all opinions are local and based on personal experience, then you can end up with an opinion that's different based on that person. In other words, let me give you a specific example. I don't think it's any surprise to anybody. I am an atheist. I have been since I was 12. There's a whole story there.
Right.
So I don't believe in God.
Okay.
I'm not agnostic. I don't believe in God. I haven't for decades. So this would fall squarely into that. People who believe in God, I consider that, because they take it on faith that he exists, right?
Right.
I don't consider that. That's not a decision that I would arrive at. So people that I like, who are obviously intelligent, they believe in God.
Okay.
So I can't just lump them all in as ignorant. I have to deal with that. And I think that same thing applies to other aspects of a human's range of opinions. And the best I can do, I can't call people just outright ignorant, as in lacking the fundamental ability to make decisions. I believe they're making decisions, and I think some of the decisions are based on willful ignorance. And the willful ignorance part is not the decision itself, it's the defense of the decision. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm trying to separate the two.
All right, I think I'm tracking with you.
All right, so let me stay with this. So if somebody has a different opinion, right? And you're like, oh, you have a different opinion. I believe in A, you believe in B. Or you believe in A, I believe in B. It's immaterial. And the question is posed, why do you believe in B? And then the answer coming back is not based on evidence, or not based on
fact.
Right, not based on facts. So I think it's possible through willful ignorance to formulate an opinion that's not based on facts. And this is only revealed when the person then states that position and it's not based on facts. And that's where I believe the willful ignorance comes from. But it doesn't invalidate intelligence, and it doesn't invalidate.
It does in Salami Boy's case. So he's the outlier, but go ahead.
Well, they're compelling reasons to offer an opinion. But I think one of the primary reasons that people offer an opinion is because it's actually what they believe. And I'm going to go back to Christianity or religion as a case in point. People have faith, and you're like, okay, can you tell me about it? And they will basically go down a road that is just littered with willful ignorance of the facts. There is absolutely no evidence of anything even remotely associated with a higher being. There's no evidence, none. They can't find it. And as a point of interest, they don't look for it because they're willfully ignorant, and having faith is suitable. So that's a fully formed opinion by an intelligent person that works extremely well for them and is fundamentally different than what my opinion, but it doesn't make them stupid.
I'm not even sure how to address that, because religion to me is an outlier. Everything you said is true. Everything you said is
religion is an analog where you have opinions that are divorced from facts.
Everything
it's convenient to use.
Everything you said about religion is true. So the pushback that I would have to what you said is religion to me is the outlier for a number of different reasons, right? Everything else in our world, and religion could be, you could put religion in this bucket as well.
Conclusively,
because every other argument, regardless of your position, is fact-based. Science is fact-based. The Holocaust is fact-based. Racism is fact-based. Shootings are fact-based.
So what happens if a person's opinion is predicated on personal facts, which are, I'm inside myself and I can tell you I'm not racist. And you're like, look what you're doing. It's like, I'm not racist. Or I'm inside myself and I own an AR-15 and it's not a dangerous thing. See, I have it. I'm not going to shoot you. I'm not going to shoot myself. So their localized opinion is predicated on their own experience plus some amount of willful ignorance that essentially keeps these other things you're talking about from factoring into their opinion. It doesn't mean they're stupid. Technically,
yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
Technically,
yeah, it does.
You know, I'll do a jujitsu move here. A person of higher intellect would be like, you know, it's so simple for me to hold my opinion. I simply don't admit these other facts that do not support my opinion, which is a very intelligent move. Thank you.
No, it's not an intelligent move.
That's arguable.
No, it isn't.
If I reach my destination,
if you don't allow other facts to enter your purview, then you're not evolving.
No, you're just choosing to think a certain way.
And that's ignorant. When the data shows us clearly, yes, Bob, you own an AR-15, you're not going to shoot anybody, but thousands of others are.
Well, I think this is an intriguing way to prove intelligence. The people that you're calling ignorant, they're smart enough not to admit facts that contradict their opinion.
That's not smart, that's ignorant.
Or is it intelligent? Is it a higher form of intelligence?
It's the lack of intelligence because you're not evolving. You're not evolving to the reality, the truth, and the facts. And the facts are more people are being slaughtered on this planet in the United States of America because we refuse to act and address the problem. That's the fact. So whatever your position is to that fact makes you either part of the evolving society or willfully ignorant.
I'm going to go with, I will take behind door B, willfully ignorant. The conversation,
and whether you want to use willfully,
I think people can hold different opinions, things that I just completely disagree with, and still be intelligent.
No,
and I'm gonna actually be I'm gonna be dealing with this in my own life.
No.
All right. So I think I've already said there are a lot of people live at our house, right?
Right.
It's kind of like a commune. There's kids and stepkids and significant others of stepkids, and it's all good in the hood. Somebody in that group is not a liberal progressive person. Now, I will tell you what they are. I just told you what they're not. They're not like me. But they are generous, pleasant, civil, moral. It's good. It's a good person. But I discovered yesterday that politically they're whoop, on the other end of the thing. On the other end, they're at the other end.
That wipes out every attribute you just gave them.
All right, but they still live here, and I'm still fond of them, and I want to have a relationship with them. So I've got to figure out.
Good luck.
Well, I almost shanked it.
I can't have a relationship with someone who's in a cult.
Well, you know what? I am willfully.
I don't care how smart you are. I don't care what your background is. I don't care how nice you are. If you're living in a cult, you're in a cult.
I'm pretty confident I'm not going to seek out a relationship with a maggot or a Trumpster, right? I'm not going to seek that out. However, I may be in a relationship already with one. Now, I don't know if they're a maggot. I don't know if they're a Trumpster or all these other derogatory terms I toss around.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't know that.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Because you know the talking points. You know a cult member when you hear one.
I'll admit it sounds like it. And
no, there's no sounds like. Listen, I love you, dude. You know a MAGA when you hear one. You know him because you know the talking points. You know a cult member when he's in the cult. You know somebody who's in the bubble when they're in the bubble. I said this to somebody who's close to me, right? Somebody who's very like you, somebody really close to me, sent me this message on text, and I said, dude, I love you. I think the world of you. Stop watching Fox and Skip Bayless and get off of that shit and get into the real world. Oh, I'm not you. I'm not quoting. I'm not
saying who it is. I'm not saying who it is. What was the text about in your case?
Dak Prescott.
Well, that's sports. Sports doesn't count.
Yeah, sports does count.
Sports does not count.
This person.
There's no policy around sports. You can't elect somebody who's then going to go in. This
person came to me with a narrative and talking points that I know come directly from Skip Bayless, who is on Fox Sports.
You got to have a better example than this. I don't consider that to be a reflection of political viewpoints.
That's a perfect example.
No, it's about sports. It's about the fucking Cowboys.
It is about talking points and narrative. And
so you're saying that because he sent you this text about the Dallas Cowboys, that he supports MAGA?
It's a talking point delivered to him from Fox. When you are in the bubble, I know when you're in the bubble because I know the talking points.
That is true. That is willful ignorance.
That's the example that I'm giving you.
Yeah, that's willful ignorance at the institutionalized level. That is true.
It has nothing to do with football. It has everything to do with I know when you're in the bubble because I know what they say in the bubble.
Well, you know what? You could argue that the people of Fox News are more intelligent than the folks at MSNBC, CNN, ABC, and all the rest of them.
Why would I argue that?
Because they have more viewers with fewer people. They get more of their kind to watch. So whatever they did it intelligently. Girl, you know it's true. Anyway, coming back to my situation.
Just because you make somebody drink purple Kool-Aid, that doesn't necessarily make you intelligent.
The disconnects with us are not philosophical. Everybody knows we completely agree on most things.
Just because I get
I don't think that they're drinking purple Kool-Aid. I think they're saying, I think they're making the purple Kool-Aid.
No.
Like if you walk in the house, you would have the lemonade or the grape. And you're like, I want the grape. And what they're doing is they're saying, I want Fox, and I want you guys to do fucking great. I don't want this stupid lemonade stuff, this woke lemonade. And they're like, I want Trump, or I want an autocrat like him who's going to get rid of these people of color and immigrants and all this other woke bullshit.
That's not going to happen.
But they're decisions that the electorate.
That's not going to happen.
I'm so glad it's not going to happen. I'm hoping it doesn't.
And there's no hope. We're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere.
We lost the house.
We're not going
We
anywhere.
lost the house. That's a
Doesn't
fact.
mean we can't come back
I
and
want to
take
give
it.
you a fact. We lost the house.
Doesn't mean we can't come back and take
No,
it.
but what you're saying is they're not going to inflict their will on us. It's like, well, they just fucking did. The last cycle, they just did.
No. JD, come on,
Yes,
stay with your own thought.
we
Stay
lost
with
the
your
house.
own thought.
Republicans won the house.
Oh, no. Stay with your own
It's a
thought.
fact.
You just fucking said,
I
I'm going to
did.
vote for him because they're going to get rid of black people. We're going to get rid of immigrants. We're
No,
not
that's what I'm
going
saying.
anywhere.
They
We're
are
not going
dictating
anywhere.
the terms of this GOP party. It's not that they are in the bubble. They want to create a bubble and then populate it with their
They
own.
already have the bubble. They already have the bubble. The bubble is their alternate universe. You know that.
That's
And
exactly
when they're
right.
in that
I'm the
alternate
one who's been saying this has been with us since time immemorial. You go all the way back 140 years.
when
And you can draw a straight line between all those behaviors to where we are right now.
when a person is in that bubble, you know they're in that bubble by the way they speak.
Yeah, but
And
you're pretending that the bubble was imposed on them. I'm suggesting, I'm confident that they want the bubble. They created the bubble. If they came out in the morning like, where's my bubble? They would work diligently to erect the scaffold.
38% does, yes.
That's the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that things that we're treating as ignorance are decisions that are made by intelligent people that suit their purpose.
You and I go round and round and round.
Yeah, but if we find the end of this,
I just gave you the end. We're not going anywhere. So whatever they're doing to suit their purpose is not going to deliver on what the fuck they want because we're not going anywhere.
Okay, you know what? You're ignoring facts. Are you aware that you're ignoring facts? Are you doing it on purpose?
What facts am I ignoring?
We came perilously close in 7 states to having an
alternate. Did we lose? No. That's the fact. You just said we came perilously close. Did we go over the edge? No.
So you are demonstrating a lack of executive decision-making capability in the formulation of your opinions. What you're saying is, I'll willfully ignore that it almost happened because it didn't happen. Therefore,
did it? I didn't. I'm not. No, I'm not. No.
Yeah, you're exactly doing
You're putting words in my.
It didn't happen, so it doesn't matter. I'm saying it didn't happen.
That's not what I said.
Goddamn luck.
That's not what I said. That is not what I said.
The entire Democratic Party. The entire Democratic Party.
What I said.
The entire Democratic Party depended on the moral fiber of one Republican vice president. Everything that we did, all the votes that we levied, everything the Democratic Party did came down to one dude who was a Republican. We did not save our republic. The guy who saved the republic, I read an article about him.
Did we lose it?
He's not my kind of person, but I will say
you just made a point about going off on facts. Did we lose it or did we win it?
We almost.
Who's in the White House? I don't want to hear about almost. Almost doesn't mean shit.
That's okay. You're demonstrating willful ignorance in the construction of an opinion. Because that then allows you to say, oh, we're not going away. They'll never get this. And I'm like, oh, yeah. If you could look into the hearts and souls of white people,
that is not
you would understand that they are driven. The only thing that keeps white people from fully blossoming is they're fucking lazy and they've already got it good. If they weren't so flaccid, lazy, and satisfied, they'd be moving.
That is not what I said. I asked you a point fucking blank question. Did it work or did it not?
I answered the question. I said it did not work.
Okay.
And then I said, but it almost worked, and that is a fact.
Oh my God, man. Woo!
I'm hitting all my bogeys, man.
No, you ain't.
You're still coming up light.
No, you ain't. You are double and triple bogey and left and right here. Because almost is meaningless.
I'm hitting all my marks.
Almost is meaningless.
Everything I'm saying is I'm really impressed with myself.
I'm almost CEO of my own company. What does that mean? Nothing. I'm almost a podcast star. What does that mean? Nothing.
Hold on.
I'm either a podcast star or I'm not a podcast star.
You're not.
I'm not a podcast star.
You're not. And you're not almost. Do you know what almost is? There's a fact-based thing. Almost.
Oh my God.
Would be 999,999 views.
No, that's not almost.
Yeah. If you can't get 1 million views,
no, almost is 2. Almost is 2. Listen, back to your situation and back to my original point. You know cult members when you hear them.
And I have one living here. I see.
And you have one among you.
I haven't drilled down on it.
There's no need to. He's either a cult member.
Need to. I can't deny a person a right to express themselves.
No, you can't.
So I want to know what they're thinking.
You already know what they're thinking. Because they're already in the cult. They're already in the bubble. You know what people in the bubble.
No, I think that's an important presumption.
We've experienced this for 7 years now.
Yeah, but the thing is, I did what I advised you against. I asked you to consider that a person's viewpoint is not based on ignorance.
And I cannot do that with 38% of this country.
All right. Well, I will tell you that my first reaction to a statement that was made was, that's an ignorant statement.
Yes.
So yes. Okay, so I'm digesting that. And then I said, as a point of interest, I would invite you, because we're in opposing views, you're welcome to say to me, I asked him to say to me, well, you're ignorant too. And I said, I can take it. I will understand if that's your response.
Why would you be ignorant too?
Because it's a matter of perception.
No, it's not perception.
In other words, I'm curious what he thinks. He thinks I'm wrong.
This is where you and I disconnect, man.
Well, let me complete the story. I want to complete the story because.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Because
this is where we disconnect, dude.
Well, you know what? This is why this is an interesting experience for me, because I'm living the dream.
Nightmare.
He said to me, he said, I loved it. It was brilliant. And he did it right in real time. He did it in real time. He said, I'm not going to tell you you're ignorant because you tell me to. I'm going to make that decision on my own. And I'll decide if and when I'll tell you you're ignorant. And I was like, that's good.
Okay.
So he put a jujitsu move on me.
Not
which
really.
Is a sign of intelligence. So I said, well, that's ignorant. And admittedly, I want to believe I said that's ignorant. I don't want to say, I hope I didn't say you're ignorant, because then I would immediately fall into this category.
If the words came out of his mouth, nobody else said it. He said it.
Oh, there was an accusation of ignorance, and then there was a very gracious acceptance of that, and a defusing of it by saying, well, I'm not going to do what you just did, which is what I counsel against doing. I'm like, don't do that. Don't immediately assume somebody's ignorant. And then, poof, the moment I'm under pressure, the moment I'm in the crucible, the moment I have it in my own life.
JD, I love you, so I'm going to help you out.
Oh, all right.
If a white person says to me, black people benefited from slavery, those words came out of your mouth.
Yeah, I think
I didn't say it. The neighbor down the street didn't say it. You said it. And in you saying it.
Okay, I still think his position is ignorant, but I don't think that should be my opening gambit. I don't think we should immediately accuse each other of being ignorant. That's hard to recover from.
Here's the problem with that narrative for me.
Okay.
And I know I'm going to offend people that I know personally, and I, quite frankly, don't give a shit. And I haven't given a shit for quite a long time. So to those out there that I offend, I'm sorry, but fuck you. If you support Donald Trump, you are ignorant. I don't care about your motives. I don't care about what the fuck your objectives are. You are ignorant.
You know what's going to be interesting is if this evolves,
you're racist and ignorant. They go hand in hand. I've had this conversation with
the problem is that if you support Donald Trump at this late hour, that's like a heap of willful.
There's so many adjectives I can use for you.
I might have to resort to ignorant instead of going to fucking evil. In other words, if you're like, I love this Trump guy, everything about him, his policies and the way he takes on the man and the way he puts people down, I'm going to maybe have to go with ignorant in a desperate bid not to assume a person is just fucking evil. If you support Trump, you don't support our Constitution, you don't support the Republic, and you don't support the democratic process.
You don't support America.
If you're going to vote for Trump, you're saying, fuck democracy, fuck the republic, fuck voting.
Fuck decency, fuck humanity.
Right.
Fuck
I'm
America.
So intent on getting rid of
armed services. How
and
much
schooling them
blowback?
that I'm willing to destroy this fucking country after 240 years. I'm going to contribute to the destruction of the country.
How much blowback, and yes, I'm going to pull this one out again. How much blowback did I get over Colin Kaepernick taking a knee? Disrespecting our country, disrespecting our flag.
You told me that at first you thought he was disrespecting the country.
I did. Until
That's an important consideration. So you're right where I was yesterday. You're like, fuck, that's just, and it's an initial reaction.
Until I got data, fact, and evolution.
That's true. You got it from a veteran, correct?
All entered into the equation.
And you educated me.
Yes. But they're the first ones to say we're patriots. You're not a fucking patriot. Go get the.
Yeah, anybody who wants to see the United States be fucked up is not a patriot.
No.
And anybody who can say on the one hand, well, I want to go back in time to the 1950s, and on the right hand say, but I don't think that we should be enforcing the laws or taking treasonous individuals to court. Do you really want to go back? Or, I mean, how fucking selective are you going to be in all this? Like you're at a buffet? You're like, I want a side of autocracy and a side of patriotism.
How stupid are you?
Actually, that's going to be a challenge. Is it ignorance? Is it stupidity? Is it evil? Is it just
all of the above, in my opinion?
I can't.
All of the above.
I'm not going to make that pronouncement.
UNC Charlotte, Chapel Hill, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill proves to all of us it is all of the above, because that person who took his own life after willfully going into that Dollar General store and killing 3 black people was evil, was ignorant, was stupid, was racist. All of it. All of it.
I remember when I was in high school, drink, drugs, sex. Okay. I can tell this story. It's a good story. A guy named Earl introduced me once. He said, this is my good friend, Dave. Right. And we were good friends. We were good friends for a long time. Got along really well. And Earl said, Dave's a great guy, but he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, and he doesn't like sex.
Okay.
Now, what's important about this?
Why are we hanging out with him then?
No. I said, dude, 2 out of 3. I don't drink, I don't smoke, but you're inferring that I don't like sex. So I'm happy to report it's just the 2 out of the 3, because at that time I didn't drink and I didn't smoke. I would be in they'd pass the little marijuana thing and I would just pass it by. And I was an atheist, so I wasn't doing it for moral reasons. I was like, I'm not going to do anything that I don't want to fucking do. So what I'm saying is that I recognize the behaviors of, you can't make me drink. Fuck peer pressure. Nobody could make me do a goddamn thing that I didn't want to do.
Right.
But then I was sensitive about having people make assumptions unilaterally about my existence based on what they had observed. And I didn't want them taking liberties and just saying, I know everything about this person. So I'm going to push back on that. Let me tell you what the conversation with this person yesterday was around vaccinations.
Oh, God.
And he's an anti-vaxxer.
Oh, God.
And I said, that's ignorant.
Yes.
But let's go back to something. I also said something else, and it stuck with him because he approached me this morning in a very civilized manner, and we had a really good conversation. But I said, you realize that at some point you might have to move out. And he said, I understand that. So let's go directly to just this single component where I disagree with him. He's an anti-vaxxer. I've had 5 vaccines, okay? And knock on wood, I haven't had COVID. I can't tell you if he's had COVID or not. I do not know. But he's an anti-vaxxer, and I said that's an ignorant position. But by the same token, there's no legal rule. There's no criminal. It's not criminal to not get the vaccine. So at the point where it's not criminal, then he can do what he wants. That's the essence of free choice.
Nobody's arguing that.
At that point, I would say, given what I've seen, I would not arrive at the same conclusion. But I don't think that makes him unintelligent. There must have been.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
I'm saying it doesn't. I'm saying there's some element of his local, personal, lifetime experience that has caused him to be anti-vax.
This is science, dude. This is science.
I know.
This is science. So
what would be interesting is
the argument is,
I'd like to talk to you about all this stuff. And I said, oh, we will in time, but I want you to know in the meantime,
the argument,
destroy our relationship over.
The argument ends by that simple statement. This is science.
Well, what I would be interested in, maybe if he and I are sitting down, and like I said, he approached me this morning. He said, so am I still ignorant? And I said,
yes. Yes.
I said,
I don't even know this person. Yes.
I said, you know, I must tell you that I was taken aback, and I really appreciated your response. And I've made a decision.
You're a better man than me.
I said, I've made a decision since that conversation yesterday. I talked to my friends, you remember? And I said, I've made a decision that I'm not going to let the fact that we're on opposite poles, at least on the vax situation, I'm not going to let that destroy our relationship. I said, and it's your fault. And I pointed at him, I said, it's your fault. You've been gracious. You've been generous. You've been reasonable. You've been pleasant. And I really like you. So I fucking disagree with you, but I'm not going to let that destroy what we've worked on. And we've actually worked on it. What we did early on, for reasons I can't explain, is each of us became relatively transparent. And he would say, "Bop, bop, bop." I'd be like, no, I don't want that. And I would say, "Bop, bop, bop." He'd say, no, I don't want that. So each of us has actually been very.
You're a better man than me. You're better man
than you.
Yeah, you are. Yeah,
you would have the same situation if you woke up one morning and discovered that somebody living in your house who was an integral part of
is moving the fuck out of my house.
Well, that was my first reaction.
This is where you and I differ. Going back to your high school, this is the thing my better half hates and admires about me the most. Marlon Taylor doesn't give a fuck what you think about Marlon Taylor.
I'm okay.
If there's one,
I don't care what he thinks about me.
If there's one known, I'm talking about the high school story you told. If there's one thing we know about Marlon Taylor, he does not give a fuck what you think about Marlon Taylor. He's going to be Marlon Taylor. So
that is true. I have evidence of that.
If I wake up tomorrow morning and there's an anti-vaxxer in my house, you are moving the fuck out of my house.
Well, they're going to move out anyway, but I'm not going to throw them out.
Again, therein lies the difference between you and me. You're not living in my house as an anti-vaxxer.
Well, what if it was somebody who your significant other was in love with? I mean, one of the
go
people
to my
who's important to
significant
you is in
other.
love with this person.
I go to my
You have to throw
significant.
them out
My
too.
significant other is going to be
No,
lockstep with.
their significant other. I made a mistake in my
Yeah,
construction.
yeah, I know.
I'm
But
saying that there's
if
a
my
very
better
important
half,
person who's aligned with this person, and this very important person, part of my job is to take care of her. That's
right,
part of my job.
right, right, and you can't do that if you have
If I
high
attack her
risk.
significant other, so I've got to find a
Well,
way.
before you even get to that, you have a high risk individual in your house. You
He
have
was
a
high
high
risk before, and I didn't know it, so now I
you
know it.
have a
So I
high
appreciate it
risk
telling me.
individual in your house at your age.
Right. And I honored our relationship by saying, dude, you realize you might have to move out over this.
No, ain't no might.
He said yes.
Ain't no might. See, again, that's where you and I are different. Ain't no might. Look,
So
if
what is
you
it
don't
there? It's
if you don't
9:30 now?
believe it, 10 o'clock. If you
Would you
don't,
have had this person out of the house by noon, you think?
yeah. Because
I think that's too much.
no, it isn't. Because I'm not putting myself at risk. I'm not doing it. I'm too old.
I'm okay with that. I'm not going to put myself at
I've
risk.
had 4 vaccines because I had the double J&J, so I'm fully vaccinated. Never had COVID.
I had 3 plus 2 boosters.
Yes, and I'm not getting COVID because, knock wood, because I'm not putting myself at risk. I'm not allowing myself to be put at risk. He is putting you, your better half, and everybody in that house at risk.
You know what? You know what? This is something that I honestly believe right now. I don't believe he would put us at risk.
Is he unvaccinated?
Yes.
Is he in your house?
Yes.
You're at risk.
You can have the vaccine and still carry the virus. I believe that if he
You
had
can't die
symptoms,
from it, though. You can't die from it.
that's his choice. I think that if he was like, I might have COVID, I think he'd be like, he would come to me and say, dude, I think I have COVID. There's no question in my mind that he cares enough about us that he would not try to protect us. I believe he would try to protect us. And he would say, I have to move out for a period of time. And we may or may not, in other words, maybe then they would move out. And
if he truly wanted to try and protect you, he would get vaccinated.
but
The science says
he's not going to. So now I work with things as they are, not as you were describing.
Well, then I'll help you pack. I'll help you pack. The science is the science.
Well, there are things that they do that I would not do for them. I mean, they have habits. I would not do any of those things.
Are any of those habits?
Them, but I'm not going to change anything.
Are any of those habits life-threatening?
To them,
COVID is life-threatening. Are any of those habits life-threatening?
All right. Well, let's stay posted on this. I think I already admitted that I'm working through this.
Yes, and I apologize.
I will tell you, I don't feel completely alone. And the person at the other end of this, we're in opposite. We have different opinions, but we're not in opposition. I don't think he wants.
You are. You just don't.
I don't think he wants me to die. Well, I could be wrong. You might be like, oh, well, you know what? I think I know I can kill this person.
It's not that he wants to. If he cared, he would be vaccinated. If he cared about the people he loved, I'm
not going to set up that chain of events.
If he cared about the people he loved, if he cared about the people he knew he would be around, he would be vaccinated. It's not that he
more about myself than I do about him. In other words, I would in fact protect myself first. Now, that's what's different with my wife and my children and my stepchildren. I would do something for them. He's not in that category, and he and I have, I think, just a standard 2 human being relationship, and he would prioritize his situation. I would prioritize mine. I think we both agree we would do that, but during that prioritization, I don't think any of us would willfully hurt the other. That's what I believe.
All right. This ain't about willful. This is about science. And we all know what the science says.
The science says that he could get COVID and bring it into the house like that.
Yes.
I think they're trying to move out, but I'm not going to accelerate the process.
Well, then, if I'm you, my interaction and exposure to you is going to be extremely limited until that day comes. You're older than me, and we're in the same cradle. So
we're in the same grave, you mean?
Yes. Yes. And so I'm not trying to go there before my time, whatever that time is. I'm not going to increase.
I do not want to die.
I'm not
ready.
going
I have
to.
Too many things I have to do.
I'm not going to increase that risk. I'm just not going to do it. Now, I might walk out here today and a safe fall on my fucking head, and have no more podcast partner.
But that's not science.
That's not science. That's
COVID
fate.
is science.
Yes.
You know what? What's interesting, I have less concerns about dying from COVID than losing my faculties. In other words, being in a brain fog. Let me tell you, when I come out in the morning, and I have a cup of coffee, and it has something in it called medium chain triglycerides, so they can get ketones to my brain. And then I'm trying to figure out how to master artificial intelligence. And I'm telling you, it's kicking my ass. It is.
Of course. Of course. Of course.
So if I come out here, I'm in a fog because of motherfucking COVID, I am going to absolutely be
die on the vine. You'll die on the vine.
I'll die in place.
I'm okay because I've had limited faculties all my life, so I extrapolate what I can.
I've learned to live with it.
Out of the little bit that I have. Oh, dude, great conversation today. Great conversation today.
Are we at an hour?
Yes.
How did that happen?
I want to give a shout out, and it's going to be a sports shout out, but I got to do this. Because what are fans? Fans are short for fanatics. And there are varying levels of fans. I put a large portion in the junior bucket. In fact, I was bitching and moaning in the house yesterday that I see so many people get paid to come on television to talk about football who don't have a fucking clue of what they're talking about when it comes to football.
You should have gone into sports, bitch.
That's what my better half always says. I want to give a shout out. Today is cut down day in the NFL. So a lot of dreams are going to end today for a lot of young men. I wish them the best. For some, that dream will carry on and continue, but for a large part, it won't. And I hope that they are prepared for that. I hope that there's another walk of life that they can pursue that will take them where they want to go. That's the reality of the sport that I love, that we love so much. Those dreams end today for a lot of people. And I just want to let them know, we understand that. And we wish you all the best.
You mean dreams that end?
Yeah. For those who have dreams that end, I don't do thoughts and prayers. But we extend best wishes, and we hope that you find, like we did when we were in that age, we hope you find that path that takes you where you want to go.
True. That's a nice shout out.
Life lesson, right? Life lesson. And I correlate it to life lessons. It's NFL, it's sports, but you can correlate that over to any facet of life. I'm sitting here trying to become gainfully employed. I'm sitting here, one of 4 of my gaming community that is now unemployed, all within the same year. So we know adversity. You and I know adversity. We got fired together many, many, many moons ago. One of the most infamous departures ever in the professional world. We'll have to tell that story again one time. But I know this day. This is a difficult day. It's a difficult day for the players, difficult day for coaches, because coaches become attached, affectionate, and fond of people who have worked so hard to try and make that dream come a reality, and they fall short. This is the adversity, the life teaching and lesson where you dust yourself off, you get back up, you keep going.
Here, here.
Here, here. We'll be back again this week. We got a lot to talk about. We got a trial coming up. We got a trial coming up in March.
And as noted,
is Meadows going to flip? We'll talk about that.
I have a lot more to talk about in my life.
Well, yes, you will.
Because I'm going to have to actually figure this shit out.
We're going to talk about, because we didn't talk about it today. I'm curious to have the conversation on whether or not we think collectively Mark Meadows is going to flip. I know he's trying to push to take this into feds. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Well, hang on. This isn't a bet yet.
Okay.
Let's wait for the Fed decision.
Yes.
And the reason I say that is because Meadows is going to recalculate based on whether yes or no he's able to move it into federal court.
He's not going to be able to move it.
We don't know.
So
we can make that prediction unless we're in agreement. I don't know if we'll be in agreement.
That's such a weak excuse that he's trying to put forward. Yes, you were a federal employee when you tried to do this, but you tried to circumvent a state electoral process.
Well,
that's the judge is like, that's it.
I can't tell you what I would say, but I think if I was thrust into that and somebody said, so JD, what's your posture on this? I'd say, well, there's no question that Mark Meadows was chief of staff, but we're not talking about his role.
No.
We're not talking about his position. We're talking about his actions.
Yes.
The actions that he took.
Yes.
Were related
to his role. No.
They were related to the campaign.
And the process in the state of Georgia.
Crime. Yeah. So, I mean, we're not taking him to court because he was chief of staff. We're taking him to court because he did all of these things that have nothing to do with the chief of staff.
Yes, yes, yes. Therefore, it is, in my opinion, going to remain in the state of Georgia. And once that domino falls, he is a sleazy weasel who will then go, okay, I don't want to go to jail. How do I avoid going to jail? And we all know the answer to that question. Start singing. We'll get a band in here. Start singing.
I think he would really not have a good time.
No.
In the penitentiary.
No. Topic for another podcast.
Yeah. If you and I go into a penitentiary, I'm not going to have a good time, but we're not going to be identifiable.
No.
You'd be like, well, fuck you, do this.
We will definitely pick that up this week.
We insert ourselves because we don't know who the fuck you are. We don't care.
We will definitely pick that up this week. We're on that social media platform that has the little blue bird.
Her mama gave her the little blue bird.
His mama gave him the bird. I'm gonna use the bird. I got you. I got your fucking.
That's a good way to do it. You can say I'm on this platform right here.
I got your fucking ex. We're on Spoutable. I keep trying to get some traction on Spoutable. I just, it's hard, man. It's hard. One, I don't have a whole lot of time to be. I didn't tweet forever, but I engage a lot. But I'm trying to embrace over there. First World Third Rail YouTube channel. Do we have a website? Don't we have a website? First World Third Rail.
We do, but it's asleep.
It's asleep. All right. Well, we hit the snooze.
When we get to double-digit viewers, maybe we'll do something.
We hit the snooze on the website.
We might have a cart and horse thing. Maybe we should do that.
I got to tell you this going out. You'll appreciate this going out. One of my good compadres, he's my gaming buddy out here, that I've known and loved for 20 years. I worked with his wife at Microsoft. He is the best amateur golfer I know of. And he just spent last week in Banyan Dunes. And for those that don't know, Banyan Dunes is a phenomenal course down in Oregon, playing 36 holes 3 straight days. And so he sent a picture. He got home last night and said, I might be on. I'm exhausted because I played 36 holes for 3 straight days. And he sent his steps, which were something like 26,000 steps a day. He walked 13.x miles a day in playing 36 holes. And I said, oh, big deal, top this. And I went to my health app in my phone and I sent him
14 steps,
they're
106.
like, Marlon, what were you doing Monday through Friday? Were you in a coma?
Yeah, how many steps did you have? Like
It was something like 700.
480?
It was. There's one day that it spiked. It was Saturday. That was the day. Oh, it goes. That's the day you went to the grocery store. Oh,
All
hey,
right.
it's tough. It's tough life. What can I tell you, man? First World Third Rails. Come find us. Come like us. Come talk about us. But most importantly, please subscribe to us. We love you. We appreciate you.
All right. And on that note,
We'll
we're
catch you
out
on
of here.
we'll catch you on the flip, brother.
All right. Oh, hang on. Let me get my.
From downtown Everett, we love you.
Hey, before you go, I'm actually taking this cup to heart.
Choose love.
I'm gonna do my best.
You got it, brother. Have a good one, man.
You too, bud.